Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta. This one is about Marshall JCM800 203 Zakk Wylde signature head from 2002. First, like usual, let's listen to a song I wrote. This is actually going to be on my third solo album. It will have vocals on all songs. I wrote the demo or the song the first time for my video about Mesa Boogie's Mark V, about, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years ago or something. But now it's like full song. This one is instrumental version because I don't have the vocals yet, but I have a vocalist for that. So yeah, let's listen to a song where I'm used the Zakk Wylde head on all guitar tracks, and then let's take a deep dive into the amp. Rock and roll. Yes, indeed. The JCM800 2203 ZW Zakk Wylde. This one is from 2002. I believe all of them are, since only 600 of those were made back in the day. How it differs from your standard JCM800. This one is the 2203X, the reissue from these originals. This one is from 85. Well, the graphics, obviously, yeah, this one is, did I say that? 2021? I bought this 2022 last year. But yeah, completely stuck, completely stuck. Well, this one, I have changed the preamp tubes and power tubes a few times, because usually to me, power tubes last around 4 to 6 months, then they're usually done, because I play these quite loud. That's kind of what you need to do to get the... But anyway, the graphics, this one has 6550 power tubes, this one EL34s. What that means is that this is a quite a bit cleaner amp, because more headroom because of the 6550, so the power tubes don't break up so early. You really need to crank the amp to get the power tube, you know, mojo. They stay clean fairly long. So that is the difference. I'm not sure if there's any other, but at least to a, you know, basic guitar player like me, I'm not a tech, although I knew a little bit about the amps and how they works. But you know, when I've opened these, pretty similar. Let's do some comparisons, so you'll hear, you know, that is the price justified, because these go fairly high nowadays. I've seen like 4 or 5K. I paid 1,500 euros, if I remember correct, in 2020 when I bought this. So yeah, they've gone up a bit, but you know, limited edition, only 600 made. Yeah, they are set the same. Presence 6, presence 5, bass 9, mids 5, treble 6, master volume 4. So they open. I feel that after 3, the power tubes start to kind of, you know, open. And then preamp full. First, let's compare them with a Buzz SD1. And the signal chain gear is one of my Japan custom shop ESPs with EMG81 85 pickups. Then it goes to the pedal board, where I have the Buzz SD1, a few other stuff, but I'm using the SD1. On the song I use the JP Wah, and then the Zool noise gate, which does only this. It just reduces the noise that all the pedals, especially overdrive pedals, generate. I'm not using it as a gate. Then it goes to KG Audio amp switcher, then into the amps, then to the Sandrock React IR, where I'm using the kind of bypass out to my cabinets, and also there's a cable to my audio interface if I want to use impulse responses. But now it bypasses, basically goes unaltered to my cabinets, and today I'm using, like many times, my Marshall 1960 vintage cabinet with Marshall, vintage speakers, the original V30s. And at the moment I'm miking them with a two SM57s in the Fredman style and a tiny bit of SC Electronics VR1 ribbon mic blended in. On the song, when I filmed myself, I just recorded the Fredman, then I doubled the track afterwards. I used single 57 and the ribbon mic. They are spread wide. Then I blended in a little bit of Dimension C, or actually Dimension D, on the Dimension D mode, the bucket brigade mode, analog stuff. A little bit of that and a little bit of Yamaha's SPX90 symphonic preset, just to widen it up a little bit. And also tiny amount of soft tube star reverb to the guitars. Minimum EQ. I think I boosted a little bit of 16K to get that air. Cut it a little bit, like dB and a half, with a narrow Q on around 3.5K, and then I don't remember if I added any bottom or anything. Basically, the high-end stuff. So yeah, pretty much the sound what I have now. But obviously in the mix, you sometimes need to tweak a little bit. Back to the subject. Compare these two with SD1 on. It's a bit louder. What we hear, more mids, more upper mid bite, EL34s. Low end is bigger on this one, a little bit and cleaner, and it's a bit darker overall because of the 6550s. Okay, then without super overdrive, Zakk Wylde. And here, this is a lot cleaner. This is the cleanest 800, less gain I played. I played over 100 during my career. I've owned 10s, now I own only 4. So, Zakk Wylde, as you probably know, likes to add quite a bit of drive and gain from his overdrive pedal. He used to use SD1, nowadays he has his own signature pedals. So his sound is quite a lot based on a overdrive / distortion coming from the overdrive pedal into fairly clean amp. I mean, it's not, but it cleans really nice. So that's the whole idea. So if you're expecting, if you're looking for this amp, you're expecting to get a high gain amp, you're not gonna get, I mean, the basic ones, these are not high gain amps, they're just really good amps, but you need to quite push it a little bit. It's just a little bit cleaner sound, because these, the power tubes, they start to break up earlier. You add that plexi style power amp distortion mojo, but if you're playing these on a quiet volume, there's really not that much difference. Only if you like I have now master at 4. Actually, putting this is now almost 5 to get a little bit more. So you need to play it quite loud. But it cleans very nicely, and I guess that's the thing, because like Zakk Wylde and like me, I've always just played with one channel amp, and my channel switching is here. So many times I do wrong key, and then when I add chorus, now let's play it in the right key. If we compare to the X, whoops, you hear it distorts earlier. This stays cleaner, and good tip is how you can use your guitar as a channel switcher, because this is a one channel amp. This is what I did in Shining, because we had a like clean parts and then all of a sudden distortion really fast, you know, changes. So I used my neck pickup as my clean sound. This is an overdriven sound. And chorus. And now SD on. So that was the 2203X, and now let's do the same with the Zakk Wylde head. First overdrive. Cool. Let's change back to the 2203X. Wylde head. It stays a bit cleaner, a bit bolder, but it's also a bit darker sounding. You know, I've said this many times before, but JCM800 is my all-time favorite amp. My first tube amp I've ever bought. I kind of learned to play with that. The reason is because it's so responsive. Like you hear, by just using your guitar's volume, changing the pickup, playing softly or hard. Because on the song, you know, the verses, it was like less gain. There wasn't. I just peaked a little bit more softly. And then, like, I'm going to show you. Really like the 800s because it's just so responsive, because, you know, here's where the sound comes, pickups pick it up, overdrive overdrives the signal into the amp, and then the amp amplifies that. And speakers makes it, cabinets it audible, microphones pick that up, and that's what you hear. But this is where the magic happens. So, you know, if you have a heavy hand, awesome. If you're a, you know, light picker, maybe 800 is not for you. But if you're like me, I play heavy with a heavy hand and hard when it's needed. Then if I want softer sound, less gain, I pick lighter. Use the volume and tone controls, different pickups of my guitar, and I can have all the sounds I need. Someone has said that 800 is a one-trick pony. I guess to me that tells more about the player, the person, than not the amp. It's not a one-trick pony. It obeys you when you command it, but if you don't know how to command, it won't obey. You have to be a commander. I'm joking a little bit, but hopefully you know what I mean. Great amp, unforgiving. If you're a good player, it's awesome. It can do anything. I've recorded country, pop, black metal, Gothenburg metal, rock, you name it, with 800 and SD1. Just by playing differently and using different guitars. Yeah. And yeah, these have effect loops. I forgot to mention, like the reissues, the old ones, the original ones, the little brother from '85, and the bad boy. The bad boy isn't on here. It's still Thomas Bloch's blue guitar. They are making that into their new forthcoming Amp X, which is again an analog thing. They've been working it for several months, but pretty soon I'm expecting Thomas to come here. He wants my approval for the Amp X and for the bad boy. So, and we're gonna do impulse responses also on my cabinet, so I can have my rig on tours and you too. So yeah, effect loops, you know, these are great. This 2203X, I did a video about it a couple of months ago. I ended up buying this. It's a great amp. You know, a little bit, they're all a bit different, but all 800s. So that was about the Zakk Wylde head. If you have a, you know, extra 4K or something, yeah, strong recommendation. If you're not, you're gonna be fine with just basic 800 or the old ones. The differences, like you hear, aren't that big. And with a little bit tweaking, I can make them to sound pretty much identical. But now they are just set the same for this video, so you would hear the differences a bit better. I forgot to mention that if you happen to find one and end up buying one, please make sure to ask if the documents are there. So it should come with a Zakk Wylde signature and Jim Marshall's from 2002. These are real signatures with a real marker. So apparently they've signed all 600 of these, because it says limited edition of 600 worldwide. This is to verify that the holder is a certificate owner of limited edition Zakk Wylde JCM800 223 ZW signature model, custom built by Marshall Amplification in 2002. So yeah, I was right. They only made these in 2002, 600 copies. And then your, you know, usual manual with a letter from Zakk and Jim, and your basic info with the different languages. Also, it used to have an extended 3-year warranty. And well, this is just the info about the Marshall's cabinets. Let's see if this says anything special about this. The amplifier, this is from Jim Marshall. The amplifier you have just acquired is a reissue of the Hanwha JCM800 223 head. It was initially launched in March '81 and proved incredibly popular with rockers throughout the '80s. The limited edition head is totally faithful to the original in terms of tone and feel, but features a quart of 6550 power valves, like British say, as opposed to the more commonly used EL34s, as the 6550s are Zakk's power valves of choice. This amplifier also has a unique and eye-catching look that was created in collaboration between Zakk and my design team. So yeah, so basically it's a reissue with 6550 power tubes and graphics, and a lot more expensive. And it should also come with this this cover. So, you know, it fits, protects your, I mean, it's not a hard case, as you can see, but you know, pretty cool. Hey, thanks for watching. Until next time, all the best. Bye.